Hello everyone, welcome to Storytime with the Princess. Today we're going to be reading A Friend for Philippe. It was a beautiful morning when I arrived at Philippe's stables with a surprise for my friend. Guess what I have, I called happily as I hurried to the horse's stall. The first carrots of the season, Philippe. I picked them just for you. Philippe was not as happy as I had hoped. He sniffed at the bunch of carrots, but when I offered him one, he pushed my hand away. Is something wrong? I asked, alarmed. Philippe was always hungry. Philippe hung his head and sighed. I decided that I needed to cheer up my friend. But how? If you could talk, you could tell me exactly what to do. Later that morning, I hurried to the castle library. I gathered all the books about horses I could find and began to read. Sacre bleu! Cried Lumiere when he, Cogsworth, and Chip saw all the books. What are you doing, Princess? I wanted to cheer up Philippe, I explained. I hoped these books would help me figure out what's wrong, but I'm not having much luck. You should brighten his stall, Lumiere suggested. It's important to have the right atmosphere, you know. I believe that music is the key to happiness, Cogsworth said. It always made me smile when I was an enchanted clock. Or how about a bubble bath? Chip chimed in. That used to cheer me up. I decided to give each idea a try. First, Lumiere and I decorated Philippe's stall. We covered the floors and walls with wallpaper and sprinkled flower petals on the floor. We piled up pillows in the corners, hung curtains on the windows, and strung up beaded garlands for a final touch. We hung a chandelier from the ceiling. Voila! Lumiere exclaimed. What more could a horse ask for? Philippe stared sadly out the window. I wish I knew, I said. Next, Cogsworth brought an orchestra to the stable. Lumiere, Chip, and I listened politely as Cogsworth led the musicians through a very long concert. Philippe didn't seem to enjoy the music, though. Finally, I saw to it that Philippe was treated to a bubble bath fit for a king. If this doesn't make him smile, I told Chip, I don't know what will. In the end, although he was shiny and sweet-smelling, Philippe was still glum, and I was still puzzled. Maybe the prince will know what to do, Chip suggested. I thought that was an excellent idea. I found the prince in his study and explained everything to him. I wish I knew what Philippe needed, I cried. Do you have any suggestions? The prince thought for a moment. Maybe a walk would do him good. That always used to cheer me up. Of course. That's a wonderful idea, I said. Bright and early the next morning, I changed into my riding clothes and fetched Philippe. I led him to the edge of the forest where the royal orchards began. The sight of all the delicious fruit gave me an idea. Would you like an apple? Go ahead and choose one. Philippe wandered from tree to tree, eyeing each apple and even sniffing some. But he looked sad. His steps were slow and heavy. It was clear his heart wasn't in it. We continued until we reached a meadow. All of a sudden, Philippe's ears perked up and his head snapped to attention. Then he charged off like a racehorse. Whoa, boy! I cried, nearly falling out of the saddle. Where are you going? But Philippe galloped on straight to the forest. At last we emerged into a clearing filled with wild horses. Philippe whinnied, and several of the horses answered him. Finally, I realized what Philippe had wanted. Not a fancy stall or fine music or a bubble bath. He wanted to be with other horses. Philippe trotted eagerly over to the herd. Well, go on. Go have some fun. Soon Philippe was playing with one of the horses. The two horses chased each other around the clearing and found a patch of delicious grass. All too quickly the day was over, and the sun began to set. Oh, goodness, we've got to get going. I promise we'll come back soon, I told Philippe. As we started toward the castle, I heard the sound of hooves behind us. Will you look at that, Philippe? I exclaimed. It's your new friend. The horse who had played with Philippe all afternoon was following us home. By the time we reached the castle, the two horses were walking side by side. Welcome to our castle, I told the new horse when they arrived. We're honored to have you as our guest. To show the horse that I meant it, I fixed up the stall next to Philippe's. There. Now this looks like a stable where a horse or two could live happily ever after. And this is exactly what they did.